What's up, Vybez fam? It's your girl, Peta Vaughn. Welcome back to my channel, Vybez Entertainment with Peta Vaughn. Now today we're starting an awesome episode about queer folk. I like to call it my lesbian series, but we're gonna include all of the queer folk in it. LGBTIA. All of us, we're gonna be here having conversations about queer things. Starting today, my first episode with my good friend Lisette, who's here from Atlanta. What's up, girl?
What's up? I'm happy to be here.
How do you identify?
I identify what feels the best to me is fluid. Queer is cool as well, but
Okay.
fluid.
All right. Tell me, I've been hearing fluid. I don't know exactly what fluid means. So share with us what that means, please.
Sure. So
To you.
to me,
Yeah.
fluid means that it's not gender that I'm attracted to. It's more energy and the type of connection and chemistry I have with someone, ultimately.
Has that changed for you over the years? Did you come to identify as fluid, or did you have to do a few experiments with a few people? Like a few genders? How did that come about for you?
Well, for me, I would say I was always curious at a very young age about females, but I was already so different and I didn't know where I fit in that I was not about to explore that life. So I brushed it right under the rug.
Okay.
And so it was, I identified as heterosexual and primarily dated men until I was bold enough or comfortable enough to really explore my sexuality.
What age range would you say that happened?
I was
for
in
you?
my, I guess, early mid 30s.
Okay.
And I had little things happen along the way, like kissing girls and stuff.
Experimenting with women, okay.
And like playing doctor at a young age.
Oh.
And, I think I was more into it than my friends were, but they didn't know. And so it was there. It's just I wasn't confident enough to explore it. So then once I started to explore it, for some reason, bisexual, it just doesn't sit right.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just fluid is more like ebb and flow, and there's not like, I don't fall right in the middle of the spectrum where it's like 50% male, 50% female. It's again just the type of energy exchange and connection I have with that being.
Yeah.
And I went a very long time, 8 years, with not dating men. And then I questioned, do I still like men? I would find them attractive, but when I opened myself up to dating men again, it was just like,
Not too sure.
not too sure.
Okay. And so now,
There's been a man that I can be 100% myself. I can dress like a tomboy. I can dress androgynous. I can dress super femme. And it all is attractive to him. And he wants me to be myself 100%. And so there are men that exist that are like that.
Yeah.
And so it can work.
is that being able to dress to whatever fits your mood that day, is that under the term fluid as well?
For me, fluid is more of sexual
Sexuality.
preference.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose it could.
Yeah.
I am not the rule maker. But I just like to
Make up
dress
these rules. There's
Right.
a new rule all the time.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So let's talk about dating. Right?
Okay.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
So dating, well, I live here in LA and you reside in Atlanta. I find dating, I'm sure heterosexuals are probably having the same issues. My sister is very straight and she was saying the same thing. It's hard to date out here in LA. Like, people aren't as responsive to you, or they're ghosting, or I'm sure that's like a general thing happening all over. But I know there's certain cities where, there's so many people and so many choices and candy everywhere. So I find that I've been having a tough time dating as a lesbian because I've been meeting a lot of women that are not emotionally available. And so that's been triggering for me to be in the space, to be just completely 100% myself and be vulnerable and show up and just be honest and open. Like, women aren't necessarily ready to do that out here, right? And then we talked a little bit earlier about just finding space and time to get to know people and not like rushing things. And we'll get into that for a little bit. But I want to know, like, for you, do you find that to be a thing? And you lived here in LA, so you've dated out here in LA too, I'm going to assume. So what do you find is the difference between dating in Atlanta and dating in LA?
My experience is a little interesting because it seemed like they weren't fully available, like you said, and then I just had a whole experience where it just wasn't healthy. The girl mentally, literally she was unstable, and I didn't know that at first, and so I probably shouldn't even take that into consideration to answer this question. And then, I didn't do a ton of dating out here because I was in a long distance relationship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know how my response really holds weight because of that.
Okay, well, talk to us about Atlanta. How was Atlanta? Dating
so
scene
Atlanta,
out there?
when I got there, I was in the relationship.
Okay.
And then, and once I became single, I tried the app situation, and I've learned that that's just not for me.
It's a hot
I don't
mess
have a
out
lot
there.
of time, and you have to put forth time, and then people like just drop off, or they're not putting in enough effort, including myself. And so it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
But people like one or you would go back and forth for a very short amount of time, and then they disappear.
And then disappear, yeah.
It's like, what in the world? So for me, meeting someone organically has been the best, and the first person that I met organically was someone that I date.
Okay.
So, and to backtrack, I did meet a few others in person, and I just wasn't really into them the way I thought I potentially could be.
Yeah.
So that's my experience, which is slightly limited because of circumstances.
Right. Okay. Are you openly dating now in Atlanta? Like, okay. So
So I done.
you're dating male, females, both. Where are
Yeah.
you at this point in time?
So I just recently opened myself up to men and met someone who is great, and while I was dating a female.
Okay.
So I've kind of flipped the script a little bit, and I'm trying open dating.
Okay.
So seeing this female for several months, and then I meet, and she has gone out on dates, and then I meet this guy and went on a few dates. I thought it was gonna be like a little side casual situation.
Okay.
And
Little side thing.
right, but then feelings and emotions evolved, and so now it's like finding balance, which is a challenge.
Okay. So you're dating both of them at the same time.
Yes, and I have to say, like, one kind of fell off a little bit because there were such strong emotions that came into play when he came in the picture, and then now it's like, kind of bringing back up things to here, or rediscovering what it's gonna look like.
Yeah. Interesting.
And I am the newbie in openness. They both have experience in open relationships, so it's me like trying to figure out how to juggle my me time, spending time with this person, and then working my business. It's like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I'm gonna say you didn't think it was going to be a lot of work to date two people. Did you have that in mind when you were like, hey? Yeah, because you have to put in time into one person. That's personally why I don't like to date multiple people, because it's energy, yo.
It is.
They want your time, and they want your energy, and they want to connect and be intimate, and you got to give them all that.
Yeah.
So
part of me is like, how do y'all do this? You know?
yeah.
So I don't know. You know what? It's taken a lot of patience, and for the person I was dating the longest to kind of step back and say, okay, I'm gonna let you figure it out.
Okay.
Because I'm sure not all people would handle it the same way,
Yeah.
and she could have been like, I'm out. Like,
Yeah.
this is not what I signed up
But
for.
she's open too, right?
Yes. And we were seeing, even though it was open, for the longest, seeing each other.
Right.
In the beginning, she was going on dates. I wasn't, because I just didn't have the time. And then when I finally took the step to be like, okay, you know, the universe brought this person in my life because it wasn't online. Again, it was organic.
Okay.
And
Both of them you met organically. Okay.
which is interesting. I feel like I manifested that.
Yeah. Get that.
So I'm figuring it out.
Okay.
Life is about experiences, and you know, why not?
Yeah. Okay. So do you feel like you're okay where it is right now?
It works right now.
Okay.
I can't say that will change.
All right.
Time will tell.
Good old Father Time.
Right.
Okay. So then, do you find that I don't date men, so I'm just curious to know: does male energy feel different than female energy? How do they differ for you?
I would say usually yes.
Yeah.
Male energy takes care of everything and opens the door, and there's like roles, you know, there's gender roles.
Okay. It's like blatant gender roles because he's male and you're
Yeah.
female. Okay.
And with this gentleman, it's quite different. He doesn't subscribe to gender roles, so still each paying for stuff, which, you know, was an adjustment initially for me when I went from dating only men to women. Equally paying for stuff, wearing what I want, not feeling I have to be feminine in my appearance all the time. Taking the lead in things or situations.
Talk about with female.
This is all male right
Okay.
now that I'm talking about.
Oh.
With female, I feel open, and it's just, it's more natural. For me, dating women has been more natural.
Is it because you are female?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the connection is just more, it has been a little bit more organic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say it's challenging dating a guy? Is there a challenge there for you? Like, because it's not as organic, so is there more effort? What is it?
Well,
does
you
it
talking
feel
about
like?
newly or in my past?
Well, you're dating, well, the male you're dating now.
Oh, it's like there's no difference with him.
Okay. Is he a different kind of male?
He's different. I was
Okay.
just gonna say
All right.
he's very different. So I think that's why it works.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay. Is he in touch with his feminine side?
Yes.
Okay.
And very straight. Very straight, but in touch with his feminine side, feminine energy, even the way he dresses, the colors he wears. No boundaries.
Nice. Okay.
But there's nothing feminine about him.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's still in his masculine essence, but he's able to be in his feminine energy.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So being open for you, right? That's something new.
Yes.
All right. Do you think like it's something that is going to be a long-term thing for you, or are you just still exploring it? Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it if you're thinking about it, because otherwise it may always stay like this. A curiosity that you never quench. So it's like we have one life here that we know of.
Yeah.
And you know, so yes, I would say if you're thinking about it and considering it, have conversation with your partner and just talk about it. It might take several conversations.
Yeah.
If you have a partner. And then long term, I don't know. I'm still in exploration, and the traditional societal norms are still ingrained in me that It's supposed to be this way.
Yeah.
And to me, and talking with my guy, I love her, but it's like there's a sense of possession there. And so that's not what it should be about. We should truly do everything that makes us happy, because who am I to tell you you can't do something?
Yeah.
So we'll see, because I am human, and
Have you had a hard time navigating it at all? Like,
I mean,
you had challenges?
yeah, there was a challenge when the female told me she had gone out on some dates and kissed someone, and I was like, ooh, and I had to process that. But, you know.
What were you feeling in that moment? Was it like jealousy?
At first I was like, oh, who is this?
chick,
Right. And then like just knowing like, well, I kiss you, like they're experiencing you that way. And it's like, dang, like why are you gonna share that? And then it's like, well, for one, I signed up for this. Two, okay, so they had their experience, but it didn't take away from her and I at all. Like nothing changed. She wasn't acting any different. She didn't seem to like me any less. And I was like, okay, I think I get it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you take the risk of things changing as well. It comes with the territory.
Yeah.
So I will really be challenged when he tells me, hey, I met somebody, I'm gonna go out with them, and I'm gonna be like, I already know I'm gonna have that reaction, and then I'm gonna have to sit with it and see if it's something I can see long term, but I really don't know. I do not know, not yet.
Yeah.
And the point of this all is to figure it out and to experience.
Yeah. That's pretty honest.
Because I've lost nothing if it doesn't work out, because that just means he wasn't my person or she wasn't my person.
Okay. So what if they both came to you and be like, I want to be serious, in like a serious relationship with you, and we don't want to bring nobody else into the picture? What if you were asked to like choose? Not to say that that's going to be the case, but
Right.
I mean, have you thought of that? Like, if
I haven't.
she were to come to you and be like, I just want to be with you, I don't want to date anybody else, or he were to come to you and be like, I just want you, I don't want to date anybody else.
The closest position I was to that was her saying, and not pushing, but open to exclusivity if it was something that I wanted. Now, there wasn't anyone else in the picture at that time, and I was still honoring my truth in that I am not ready for that, because I still want to experience this openness. And she completely understood. And if one of them came with that ultimatum, I don't know if I could honor that. I would probably have to say, you know where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I'm in this exploration, and I honor if that's what you want. I personally can't give that to you right now.
Okay. Could you handle one more person on your plate?
Nope. Nope. No. It's hard enough with two.
Right? Yeah.
I do work, well, yeah, the way I work is, I don't know how people do that.
Yeah. I can imagine. That's what I'm like, you get props, because like 2 just seems like a lot already. Because you also are like, their emotions and what they bring to the table, what they're wanting and needing from you, what they're giving to you, right? That's a whole energy. And then you're dealing with 2 different like feminine and masculine energies as well. So those differ in the ways they differ. And yeah, that sounds like...
You know, I could say the way that it could work, well, it's still not more than 2, if each person was also seeing someone else. Because then, while they're seeing that other person, then I could give my time to this or have my me time. Right now, I am the one person.
That they're both seeing.
Yeah. Now, one does date, but there's not like someone they're consistently dating.
Okay. And now, are you comfortable now with like each of them coming to you, or the female that you're dating? You're now comfortable with that because you had a little hiccup with that in the beginning, her like kissing somebody else. How are you feeling about it now?
I feel okay.
How do you process it? Or you're just like...
I had to literally ask myself, why am I feeling the way I am? And if this is what I want, and what does it mean to me that that happened?
Yeah.
And we had conversation, very open, very
Yeah.
honest conversation is like priceless.
Yeah.
Sometimes uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but that's where that vulnerability comes in.
Yeah.
And you know, that's where what kind of got me through it.
Yeah.
Now, if she was starting to see someone consistently, again, that might be something new I have to process because it's been going a certain way for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Same thing with the guy,
Right.
the male.
The male. Interesting stuff, y'all.
So you said you identify as lesbian.
Yes.
Have you ever dated men?
Yeah, girl.
Oh.
It was yeah, like I identify as being heterosexual for most of my up until like my young adult life. So when I was like 23, 24, then I was like, women are looking kind of good though these days, right? And yeah, so I was still seeing men. I had a boyfriend, like, I was like a late bloomer. So I had a boyfriend when I was like 20 years old, like my first real relationship with a boy. And yeah, and then I always remember just having an attraction towards women, like when I was younger, like even in school, like on my teachers. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to Miss So-and-so class because, you know, she's looking good all the time. I don't know what she's going to teach me today, but I'm just going to sit here and daydream about her. And like, just watching people on TV, right? Just be like, yeah, she's so cute. So I remember having those feelings growing up. But, so I knew there was always an attraction there. I was trying to be like best friends with like the prettiest girl in school. I'm like, hey girl, so we're friends now, we're BFFs. And just being like, wanting to be close to them and like get to know women in that way. But I was always like running with the boys, you know? So the girls were there because they looked good and I enjoyed their company. But yeah, once I was like, I had a little fling with a girl, like I met in the Janet Jackson chat room one time. JJ, what up? Listen, everybody loved them some Janet, right? So yeah, I met her in a chat room and then we just started flirting and then that's when I was like, ooh, what is this? And she was flirting back and we were like literally friends, but somehow we like went past the friendship line and we were like dabbling and flirting. And funny enough, it was like when I was 18 and I was planning to move to California. And so eventually we started talking and I was like, well, I want to take a road trip over to Cali. Like she was in Kentucky somewhere. And I was like, I could stop off on the Greyhound and like go through.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was 18.
Yeah.
You're not really thinking about like how you're gonna move. You're just
Right.
like, just hop on a bus. I could do 3 days just to get to Cali. And I was like, let me stop in Kentucky and meet homegirl. Tisha was her name. She might be able to watch it. And yeah, and like the chemistry was great. I met up with her. She lived with her parents. So the parents thought I was just a friend.
Yeah.
And I got to stay with her for like,
yeah,
like 2-3 days. I was literally staying with her because I had nowhere else to stay. So, and we bonded over Janet and other things. And that was how my love for women expanded.
Yes.
And I was like, yo, I think I'm into girls, like for real, for real. But there was always a religious factor for me. Right, that's where it was. I was like, I can't be gay. God doesn't love me. If I'm gay, I'm gonna go to hell if I pursue this. But there were urges there. I was like, I cannot help this. Like, I am drawn to women. I need to know more. And I remember having like intimacy with men, but it wasn't quite lining up. I was like, please hurry up and finish because I am over this right now. And that's just where it was going for me. I was like, there's something here.
Yeah.
And I was like, and one day, I think I was like 21, 22, somewhere in that range, early 20s. I met this girl while I was working at the airport and I just saw her and I was like, oh, is that? Like, I was just drawn to her. This after I had the fling, because I was still questioning, and I was like, I can't have these flings anymore. I can't do it.
Flings with women?
With women.
Oh, okay.
But that was the one fling I had, and I was like 18, 19. And I was like, I can't have this no more. Gotta put this aside. God doesn't like this. Please forgive me. But it was a good time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I ended up meeting this girl at the airport where I used to work in Philly. And yeah, we just hit it off. We were friends. We were talking. She was in the guys. I was in the guys at the time. But we were like drawn to each other. And I'm like, there's something here. And I was fighting it with everything I had. But it was just like, no. One time, we both had boyfriends, we were all hanging out, and we just left them downstairs, and we went upstairs, and we just started making out. And it felt like the most natural thing in the world for me. I was like, I'm missing this. This doesn't make sense. I don't think I want to be with boys anymore. But maybe I'm bisexual, so I identified as bi for a little bit.
Okay.
Very short time. It was a hot minute. And then I moved to New York, and it was a wrap. I'm like, because then I was in the gay scene, like I was 21 and over, and I went to lesbian clubs, and I'm like, the life, hell yeah. There was women everywhere. I could dance with women.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so around 24, 25, I was like, I'm a lesbo. we're not doing dudes. Penis was not doing it for me. I think I was trying to talk to this guy, and I had to be like, I'm sorry. Like, I hadn't even slept with him. I was like, no. You're cool, and no. And so, yeah, so I claimed it at like around 25. I'm like, this me.
Okay.
Vagina's doing it for me.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
Right.
So that's when I was like, yes. So yes, I have, for religious purposes and beliefs, I was like dating guys. And then we found ourselves.
Yeah.
In all the places.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And I never turned back since then. And like I said, like guys are attractive for sure. I've been like, oh, he's cute, whatever. But not sexually. Like my loins aren't like, yeah,
Right.
I want that dude.
Right.
No, that doesn't. No, I don't.
Doesn't occur for you.
You don't do it. She don't speak it that way. She don't speak their language. She don't speak their language. She don't do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and yeah, I've been that ever since, and I'm out and proud and enjoy being a lesbian, for sure.
And how, so are you on any apps, and do you like them? Do they work for you?
Girl, these apps, I mean, I was on Hinge for, I'm a person that at this point in time, like when you hit like 40, like something happens. You're like, okay, I know what I want. Well, for me personally, I was like, I don't want to play games with people. Like that takes too much time and energy and effort.
Yeah.
So I was on the app like 2021 to 2022. And I was really going through it for like 7-8 months. I was just like, I want to intentionally date. I want to know why you're here, if you are intentionally dating as well. Like, I think there's a thing with setting intentions for dating, right? Because if you just go out into the field and you're just doing whatever and being a fuck boy, fuck girl, like, it's all you, sure, but it's not for me. So I had a hard time, like you said, people will show up and then they would disappear. And I didn't know that's the way dating apps worked, because I wasn't really like on dating apps like that. And so that's what I had to learn. So I was on it for like 7-8 months and just getting to know. I really learned about myself in that. That's really what happened for me in it.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, you're gonna show up this way. That doesn't make me feel good. So that's not what I want. I literally would give people just like 48 hours to answer. I'm like, if you're not answering in 48, then you don't have time. And that's what that tells me.
Yeah.
Because some people need like a week to answer you, and I'm like, you're not intentional then.
Yeah.
Why are you showing up to this app if you're not going to put effort into it? And for the first 48 hours, I think that was reasonable. I was just like, maybe I'll give you 3 days, maybe. But if you're not showing up, then like, no. Because I'm here, I'm intentional, I'm willing to show up. I want to get to know people. I love humans, I want to connect, I want to know what you're about. And it takes time and effort to do that. There's like that fine line in the first like even week where you're like, what's up, how do we move from this? Because I was reading somewhere, dating advice-wise on apps. Like, you don't want to stay on the apps forever.
Yeah.
You want to move like from it within the first week. Like,
Yeah.
you talk, you connect. If you're good, then let's move it to a phone call. Let's move it to FaceTime. Let's move it to then a date. So yeah, so that wasn't happening. Like, people were disappearing.
Yeah.
Where you at?
Yeah.
We were having great conversation. What happened? And I had a hard time with that because I also have, I'm moving away from my anxious attachment style, and I have abandonment issues, right? And I'm definitely working through those. But that was triggering all of that for me. And I was like, if you're triggering that for me, then I don't know. Then that's how it's going to play out like consistently. So yeah, so I had a hard time for like the first few months, and then I eventually, there's people that I got to FaceTime calls or video calls, and then it never went past that. But there was plenty of like disappearances, plenty. And I just didn't understand. I was like, why show up if you're gonna disappear? Why show up if you're going to disappear?
I don't think a lot of people take it seriously. They're like, oh, this will just be fun. Let me see what's out there. That's like kind of like dabbling.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, one of my friends who does, you know, the apps, I think she doesn't mess around. She'll converse, like, I don't know, maybe like back and forth once, and she'll say, let's FaceTime to feel the energy and see if the banter and the attraction is there. And then from there, you want to meet at a coffee shop. So she constantly is meeting people who, you know, in person quickly, because you'll be able to tell. Yeah. I mean, sooner than later.
And the waiting period can get a little confusing sometimes. Because you don't know. You're just like, are you coming back? Are you not coming back?
Right. Yeah.
Are you not into this? Like, yeah. So dating apps I'm not on one now. I'm not sure if I want to get back on it. Because I was on Hinge for a little bit, and that did a number on me. I was like, yo, there's too many people doing bullshit on here. So, have you been on Hinge? Never?
The only one I've ever been on is, and people are like, they have that, is Facebook dating, and it found me. Yeah. I wasn't looking, like I kept getting ads on it, and I was like, let me try this out. But I kind of want to say I might have tried She one time. I don't even know if it still exists.
I don't know either. I've never heard of it. I've been on Her.
It's Her.
Okay. She, her. Either way.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, because I feel like Her was like the popular lesbian app for like a little bit. Yeah. It's funny, I had this woman slide into my DMs and was like, hey, I think I met you on Her like a few years ago. And I was like, oh, you're just pulling game over here. Because I was like, I don't remember you. And she's like, yeah, I'm not sure if I remember you, but I thought I saw you on there. She tried. It was cute. Yeah. And I was like, no. I haven't been on Her in a very long time. I gave her props for effort, right? Have you ever had that? You ever want to slide into your DMs? And it's like, yo, you fine, girl.
It's not even, it's not on a dating app, but they'll just be like, hey.
Yeah, just on socials.
Yeah.
Okay, you have?
And it's like,
have you responded to this? Are you responding?
Oh, thank you so much. Like, they're sliding in the DM as them saying, I think you're beautiful, or I love your personality. Maybe I'd like to get to know you more, and I just be like, oh, thank you so much.
That's it? Thank you so much. Yes. That's all you got for them. Thank you so much.
I ain't got time.
Okay.
Because if I was, I
What if it was somebody you were attracted to? Like,
I probably would go check out their page, see what I could.
But you never had it go any further than that. Someone sliding in, and you actually follow through.
I don't think that I have. Okay. I'm really trying to think.
If you don't remember, then you probably have not.
Right.
If you try to think back that far, then probably nobody's significant.
Yeah. Or maybe the sliding started out as more like, hey, can you tell me more about, I saw one of your videos, so it was more like.
Just general?
Yeah, and then you kind of gain a rapport, and then, Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't had too many people slide in. I had one girl slide in, one white girl that slid in there and was like, yo, you so hot. And she had the fire emojis, and I was like, oh, what's up, girl? Like, you know, I was checking it out. I'm not really into white girls like that. So it was interesting, and I checked out her page, and she looked really young. like some early 20s. And, but I just entertained it to see what it was about. Because I was like, oh, thank you. And the conversation turned into, because I had to politely be like, thank you, but I'm not really into white girls. Like, I tried to say it as politely as possible, but that was my truth. I was like, you're dope, but like, sorry, like I'm not. And then her reply was, well, I just like to have sex with black girls. I don't really have relationships with them. So I was like, girl, hunty.
Oh my.
Hunty, we're just over here doing the most in my DMs right now. And then, but that's a thing too, right? Like white girls that want to.
I guess that's a thing.
No, that's a thing. Well, maybe not for you.
Right.
But I've had white girls slide into my DMs and see me as a fetish. I was just like, no, thank you. Because that's what she wanted.
Oh, ain't nobody got time for that.
Right. No, I don't. I was offended. Like, no, you don't just get to use black women to have sex with them. No.
Did you say that?
Yeah, I told her that. I was like, we get to be in relationships too, and meaningful ones, and you don't get to use black women as like fetishes. Like, that's not okay in my book. I was offended. I was like literally hurt. I was like, so you don't see me as the type that you would want to be in a relationship with. Like, I'm literally just a fetish to you. No, thank you. Yikes. No, I will not be your fetish. Thanks and no thanks. And I think that's a thing. It's a thing in heterosexual relationships too. Like, white women that just want black men because they're black. Yep. And so we see it in the lesbian world too, in the queer community, and that's the thing. And I was like, wow, people are out here doing the most.
This is real.
Doing the most.
Yeah.
So I think she tried to continue the conversation, or she just never came back to it, and I was like, we're good. But let it be known, I am not a fucking fetish. No, ma'am. Period. Don't forget the period.
I think what works best for me is organic. It's just...
Yeah. Do you find that how you identify, is it easier for you to attract someone else?
In terms of female, I'm mostly attracted to androgynous to masculine presenting. Okay. So for me, it's easier to like spot this person 9 times out of 10, not always. And then I feel like I have to let it be known. Like the girl that I'm dating now, like I went up to her, you know, and I also thought that I knew her. Or that I met her on the app. But even if I hadn't, I was bold that night, not always.
Doing the approaching?
No, I don't. Mm-mm.
Just that one
Typically,
time?
I don't. But, I mean, there's been here and there. But I saw her and I was like, I ain't got nothing to lose.
I want that.
Just go ahead.
Like, I want that.
So I went up to her and things worked out. And there's a girl that I was shopping and she's like, oh my God, you're so pretty. I love your hair. She was really cute. Mm-hmm. And then when I went back to be like, hey, she's like, oh no, I don't.
Oh, what?
And I was like, damn. I said, well, no disrespect. Wow. I hope you take it as a compliment that, another woman finds you attractive and enjoy your day. She was like, thank you.
Good save, good save.
Hey, I lost nothing.
Right.
I feel like, someone who is masculine presenting or stud, I guess you just have to take more of that chance and that risk.
That part. It's a whole thing, right? Yeah. It's a whole thing, and I want the studs or people who identify more masculine presenting to like comment below. Let me know what it's like, what the dating game's like for you and your approach game. Are you approaching? Are you letting the femmes approach? Or like, what is it? So I'm curious about that. But for you, like, do you find it, because I feel like it's easier, right? It's easier if you're feminine presenting to attract like who it is that the type that you are.
Yeah. And if I liked femme women, I would be in the same position you are.
Yeah.
And I think I would just approach it, like if I started up conversation, I just might say, by any chance, are you into women or do you date women?
Okay.
Make it real casual.
Yeah.
Just say, oh, okay. I was just curious.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's usually, I'm doing the dance, trying
Yeah,
to
I
figure it
know.
out. It's work, man. It's work out here, especially in
bet.
LA, because you just don't know.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like the dating apps would probably be easier rather than to meet somebody organically, unless you're going to like a queer club or a queer event.
Right.
Where you're like,
Yeah.
eye contact, you see what's happening. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I have this game that I want to play with you.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for it? Where it's some questions. All right, so I have some fun questions that I'd love to ask you. Would you rather have a partner who is more adventurous or someone who likes to stay close to home?
Oh, that's easy.
Knowing you.
Adventurous. I love adventure. I love experiencing new things.
Yeah.
And doing fun, different kind of stuff.
But what if, like, say, either persons that you're dating right now wanted to stay home? And they're homebodies, they like to stay home, but you're the more adventurous one.
Well, there's
And
such a
either-
thing as balance, and I need someone to tell me to sit my ass down.
Okay.
Because I don't know how.
Okay.
So I appreciate that,
Yeah.
actually.
Okay.
If I had to choose one or the other, it would be
The adventurous one.
adventurous, yeah.
Okay. Let's see what else.
What about you?
I'm a homebody, just to keep it real. I feel like the older I get, because I think for work, because I'm so physical for
I know.
work.
Yeah.
I do PT, physical therapy, so yeah, I think for me, on my days off, I want to like chill. I want to rest this body of mine,
That's good.
especially when you hit them 40s, girl. So I want to rest this body of mine.
I wouldn't know anything
we're
about
both-
that.
Right? You do it? No? Not at all?
No.
Okay. Let's look back at how old you turned this year, girl. Okay?
Moving on.
Let's look back for your season, how old we turned this year. Here we go. Would you rather date someone who's more physically affectionate or someone who is more emotionally supportive?
Oh.
Yeah.
I love affection, but that emotional support. Oof. I would go with emotional support because that can take you so far and expand you and you know, support you, and then I would bring the affection to the table. How you doing? The best of both worlds.
Well, I would think you'd have to meet them there emotionally too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Right?
Give me the questions.
Wait. I got a few more. Hold on. But yeah, I'm with you. I think I'd want someone emotional, be supportive. Because, well, what's your love language?
My
That
love,
kind of ties into that.
yeah, is acts of kindness,
Yeah?
and then quality time.
Oh, okay. Mine's is words of affirmation. Like, I like to hear. Like, communicate with me. Tell me how things are going. Tell me how you're feeling. So I know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like to just guess.
Right.
I am not a guesser. A lot of people like to do that shit. No, tell me what's going on. I want to know how you're feeling. I want to know how I'm showing up in this. I like feedback, right? So that's
Emotional
one of mine.
support.
And quality time. I'm here for some quality time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Would you rather date someone who is very similar to you or someone who is very different?
Ooh, that's a hard one. That is hard. I think at this point in my life, I want someone that has similar values to me. I think there's certain similarities that I would want in a partnership that is similar to mine. So yeah, I would go for similar, just to like in values and like, maybe not even like career, but like lifestyle, the way you want to live your like intentions. I think that's important to have similar.
Yeah.
For the relationship to expand and work for me. If you're too different, then it could go any amount of ways, you know what I mean? If they're too different for me, so.
I agree with you 100%. I'd want it
Yeah.
similarities because I think there's a relatedness and just different type of connection.
Yeah.
But then you also want new things to be,
Right, yeah. If you could explore new things together, but
yeah.
we could do that.
All right. And then, would you rather have a partner who is more financially responsible or someone who likes to splurge on luxuries?
Though, I kind of see like someone that is financially responsible but loves to splurge once in a while. That's not what you asked me.
One or the other.
It depends. If they make a lot of money, right? No, it's gotta come with something. It's gotta come with some stipulations, right? So if they make a lot of money and then they like to splurge, then yes, that works for me. But if they ain't making money but you splurging a lot, then that don't make sense to me. If you got it and you could splurge, yes, I'm here for it. What?
It's real complicated around here. Adding things to the question.
Because it ain't always just black and white, right?
I mean, true. I would pick financially stable because if they're financially stable, that means they have the money to splurge in luxury.
I said the same thing. I literally said the same thing. See y'all? I said the same thing.
That's fine.
Right? That makes sense. Because if you're just spending and you don't got the money, then no. So physically, I want to know what you're attracted to from either sex. From when you look at males, what are you usually attracted to? When you look at females, what are you usually attracted to?
I was gonna say it's the same for both, and so I love lips.
Okay.
I love an athletic body.
Okay.
Now this is not necessary, but initially, if I were lips, smile, athleticism, I love booty, and
on men and women.
yeah.
Okay. So booty's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a little.
Like to squeeze that.
Squeeze it.
Okay.
And it could be a little booty. I can't do too big. That's just not for me.
That part.
And then female, like I like. Smell that. It comes back down to athletic. And I've dated all different types of body types.
Okay.
So it's not a deal breaker.
Right.
But those are the things that I think initially catch my eyes, and eyes.
Gotcha. I like breasts over booty.
Oh.
Right? Only because you date both, but it's only because like that's what separates males. Yo, you're so stupid. Why?
Sorry. I think that's what separates men from.
Yeah, that's what separates men from women. So, and I'm very attracted to women. So, like, I like breasts. Like, I don't like voluptuous. Like, I don't know what to do with all that. Like, so I can't, like, I just don't. It's too much. So I prefer. You don't gotta be
like a handful or a little more than a handful.
I can do a handful or more than a handful.
Okay.
Right? Like I don't got a lot, but it's the handful. Like I can do. So I can't ask for more than what I don't. Right?
Okay.
And I don't have. So.
Well, you could, but.
I mean, I could, but Yeah, for me, I could do handful or more than handful is fine. Like,
okay.
But the huge, like, I'm not motorboating nothing. Like, I don't want it in my face. Like, it's just, I need it just right.
Okay.
So, I'm more like energy. I'm more like chemistry, sparks.
I call myself energy sexual.
That, I like that. Yeah. Ooh, I'm stealing that one. Energy sexual. Thank you, girl.
Yeah.
Energy sexual. I dig it. I'm for it. Yeah, girl. This was a great convo.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the first episode of our Queer Folk LGBTQIA
LMNOP.
That never gets old. Yeah. So we'll have more of these talks. Maybe we'll have you back. Or see how the open relationships are going.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you've evolved into something else, a different avenue, direction. But yes, I wish the best for you in those relations, and I'm sure you get to learn a lot about yourself in them as well.
Thank you. And I wish you the best of luck when you get back on those apps or meeting someone organically.
Yeah. I'm here for the organic, but you know,
And being bold.
listen, I have no other choice because I
got
can't figure
this.
out where y'all at.
Yeah.
So we gotta make moves to get moves.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But maybe someone will make moves on me. How about that? Make some
Hey,
moves on
put
me.
it out there.
Put some moves on me. That's where we're going. I would love that. I've had that happen, so it's possible.
Yes.
So I would like to be pursued, you know, instead of putting all that work. And but yeah, either way, however it's meant to happen, it will happen.
Yes.
And but yeah, it was great having this conversation with you.
Yeah.
Maybe coming to Atlanta. see
Yes.
what
Bring
the women
that
do out
ass.
there.
Right.
What the women do out there.
Right.
ATO.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. For
Okay.
experience. So yeah, maybe we'll film in Atlanta and see what the dating scene's like out there. Yeah. But it's been dope. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the conversation, being open and vulnerable about
You're welcome.
you know,
Thank
where
you
you
for
are.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for asking me. Oh, I was honored.
oh, of course, for sure.
Yeah.
And more to come.
All right. I'm here for it.
Yes.